All right, what is going on, everyone? So we are now live. Coinbase IPO is up and is now trading. We're going to just dive in, let people jump in, make sure to hit the thumbs up button. We'll talk about what is going on here. We'll watch this happen. Let's watch this for the rest of the day. Honestly, we'll see how this goes. But kind of some interesting developments, I think, as this has now gone live. It went live at like 381-ish. Now it's sitting at 398. It hit 429.54 as the high, just about, I don't know, like 10 minutes ago. And now it's back down to the mid 390s area. So one thing to also note while we're watching this, look at Bitcoin. It's coming down towards the lows of the day, which is interesting because IPO comes out, Bitcoin pushes up, and then boom, falls on down. So we'll see. That's an interesting development. Now, I think a lot of people are also going to keep that highly correlated. I bought 10 shares at 393. So like right where it's at right now. And we'll see how it goes. Just for fun. So I could have honestly sold it. I could have scalped that thing within 5 minutes. It was up over 425, but I didn't. So I'm just going to hold what I have for now, and we'll see what happens the rest of the day. Anything interesting? EQOS, look at that thing just went. You know what we are noticing though? I think a lot of these stocks, Mara is holding up in the 43s, but a lot of the crypto related stocks just got pummeled ever since this hits. Just it's kind of like a sell the news for a lot of the crypto stocks. Just took a direct shot. EQOS is plummeting off a cliff. It was trying to hold up in the 11s, and now it's just gone. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Wow. So, yeah. I know I'm getting destroyed today, but that's just me. So we took a nice fat L across a lot of the crypto plays. It was yesterday was the day to be selling, Even though we didn't get much movement, but yesterday, the after hours, this morning pre-market, that was the peak for the riots, the Maros, the EBONs, LGHLs. EQS was today, midday, got a pop, but it's been plummeting off a cliff ever since that 12. We'll hit up to 13, then it popped again, 1250, and it's just straight down. So, kind of crazy. All these things are gone. Like the EBON, gone. Well, no, it's actually holding up. 480 is a decent support. I would like to see that area hold up. Mara bouncing a little bit off the 43-ish area. Okay. Yeah, but I mean, it's just sold off so much today. It's like, is there really much to note? Yeah, so I think coins actually got, VWAP right here at like this 395-ish area is area that's holding up quite well. So we'll see if it gets back over 400. Gets back over 400, then it may, make a push, on up. I think it's actually not that bad. I think a lot of people are, I think under 400 is a pretty good spot if you're looking for something. Maybe it's a longer term play, a little bit less risk. Obviously, over 500, those kind of numbers we were hearing, rumors of and stuff yesterday and even earlier today. That's, kind of ridiculous, and also, the risk reward there is a lot higher, obviously. So I think it's a much better spot right now. Yeah, but other than that, I mean, honestly, I could have taken this, looking back, would have been great to have just scalped that thing up to 420 and then bought more back. But, yeah, you can't trade option on it yet, right? There's no option chain open yet, or at least not on Webull. Anything else noticeably up? Well, this is coming in at saying it's up 59%. That's because the price that the NASDAQ had it at earlier was like 250. So yeah, but it's really, it opened up. We had the ability to start trading this thing at 381, and now it's at 398. So we'll be watching how this finishes up the day. I think it's going to have a strong finish, but we'll see. Also want to watch Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin bouncing off the 62.5. The 62.5 is pretty strong support. 62,500. Seemingly, as of right now, it seems like it came down to that level a couple times, earlier today, and it also, was an area back in the past. It has held up quite well on. So that's good to see, or at least for now. And then if we go back here, what is Coinbase doing? It's VWAP. I think it could get interesting if the thing, well, I don't know. I don't know how far it could go down, honestly. I mean, I think there's enough hype to a degree, and also enough people who are interested in this to potentially want to, buy this thing up under 400. I think under 400 is fairly safe. Even if you're looking for like a scalp type of trade, I think under 400 is a fairly safe scalp trade, or if you're looking for like a short-term trade, as long as Bitcoin stays elevated, as long as the hype stays somewhat elevated, I guess, to a degree, right? But as we're speaking, it's coming down. Look at this, 387 now, 386 I'm seeing. So it's super volatile. If you are not willing to take some risk, or you're not willing to sift through some ups and downs, then it's definitely not worth taking this thing, or not worth touching this thing. But let's see the volume. We're looking at, in terms of each minute traded, there's about 300,000 to 400,000 shares being traded every minute. Once it came out, we had 9 million shares traded right away. Let's see, on some of these bigger move downs, 1.5 million, 1.5. Yeah, these two big candles are 1.5 million. This big red candle right here was 790,000. So far, this candle we're up to 319,000 shares. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think it will go below 380. If it does, I think that can get interesting to the downside. But I don't think it will go below 380. We'll see though. We will see. But we had a crazy move. I mean, you had if you caught this early, which I did, but I just didn't sell it. But if you caught this early, in the 380s, 390s, which some people got to do right in the first few minutes of this being live, what is that percentage? You're talking about, for example, let's say from like 390-ish, you're talking about a 10% move that you had. I'm sure people scalped, the heck out of that and did well. I'm sure. EQS from earlier today, look at this thing, just coming plummeting on down. I still have 50 shares left, but looking back, it wouldn't have been terrible to sell. Always looking back. Hindsight's 2020. Okay, let's go back and check on positions. So what I pretty much did, which this week, that'll be the story of this week, I guess. Pretty much what happened this week, for me at least so far, is I decided to throw some lottery options on the table after, I guess a pretty rough Monday in terms of most of my stuff being down Monday. Not just swings that, I have longer term conviction on, so I'm not really too worried about it. I threw some lottery option plays out for today that look really good in pre-market, and then once the market opened, they just sold off massively and just depleted my account, is essentially what happened there. So we'll see if we can scrap some of them by the end of the day, or maybe tomorrow, scrap some of them for something so we don't lose it, so they don't expire worthless on me. But yeah, that was a... So the kind of the anticipation here was we got a little bit of both. We kind of had a little bit of hype, I guess, yesterday into early morning pre-market today on some stocks. And then it seems like more of a sell the news, but it's not every event, right? Not every stock is just straight down. Like EQOS is one that popped up, and now it's coming down after Coinbase has gone live, right? But prior to that, this was looking really good. So it's just weird, very weird market conditions. I think it's honestly just like it's not like one. It's not a very decisive. Everything's selling off. Everything was sell the news, or everything was a hype. Very interesting. Mara bouncing up off that little dip. Bitcoin at 62.7. Just checking in on that. Yeah, Mara and Riot had a decent bounce off of the lows, but they came up towards like VWAP and got rejected around VWAP. So that was an area that was their rejection point for that. So until those get above, they've been below VWAP pretty much all day. Until they got above VWAP, then those are going to be kind of dead. But that would put Mara up to like 46.30 something, which still got like $2 to go, which I don't think it's going to do today, at least. We'll see though. Bitcoin would have to reverse hard off of where it's at, and I don't know. I don't even know if you can consider the. Let's see. This is a wonky chart. I'm not sure if you can consider the IPO to have really an effect on Mara and Riot as much. We can't. I mean, I haven't noticed. I can't tell. Like, okay, they're bouncing with it or not. Look at Coin now. Look at this. It's dipping down to recent lows, as we see. Now 382, 382.50 something. 380. If it goes below 380, that would be interesting. It would be very interesting. What else is there? GameStop is actually interesting. GameStop is up today, 15%. It was up like 20% earlier, I think. VWAP potentially a dip by here, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like it may be holding that area right now for now. But that's interesting to watch. But back to this guy, back to the old Coinbase. It's been open for about like 20, 30 minutes or so. Yeah, it went live at 1:36 Eastern. We'll see. What do you think of Lordstown Motors? Well, they had some mess going on with Lordstown Motors. I'll pull it up and we'll take a look at the chart on this guy. They had a mess, so I think this could be a decent opportunity for a longer term kind of play. But ever since they got some bad press, right? But I think down here towards like 1050-ish, under 11 is not a terrible idea to start grabbing some if you like it longer term. Just make sure you're not like, freaking out about the short term, fluctuations on it, but it's probably I think it's not a terrible idea. I would say at least. So my FTCVs, right? These calls, this was the what's it called? The SPAC merger with eToro. Well, this is actually bouncing a little bit off of the low it hit, 1250. But these calls essentially went worthless, or are going to go worthless on me unless I sell them today or tomorrow. We'll see. Yeah, so the thing is, it kind of sucks for at least this week for me is that I threw a couple $100 in these lottery plays, and they're all pretty much going to go worthless. Now, that's how it works, right? You risk on those option plays. That's the risk you take, which is again kind of another reason why I don't usually trade options. But I felt like today for this event would be this could be a decent opportunity. It just didn't work out. So we'll see. We'll definitely be talking about that one on as things. We'll talk more about this when we have our usual Saturday recaps and planned for next week and things like that on what I usually do. But learning experience for sure. So let's see. Mara bouncing a little bit off of where it was. Yep. What I also started to do, I started to buy a little bit more of some other plays. I bought a little more ELYS today while it's quiet, while it's dipping. I like it down towards the bottom of this range that it's been in, which it's getting down to under $5 is pretty good. Could have come down a lot more. Yeah, I think it's still undervalued though, personally down where it's at right here. And then I started to buy a little bit of, I'm starting to buy a little more AYR. I'm looking to see if we get a 50 or a 200 bounce. I want to build out a pretty big position in AYRO at some point, but it's just we're not seeing any strength. So I'm slowly going to add into that. What I've done for a lot of my swings, that I just left 100 shares on and said, okay, I'll leave 100 shares and I'll watch them. And if it can't hold a certain level, or if I'm watching and I'm noticing, okay, these things are going, I don't like it anymore, I'll wait. Or once I notice these are starting to hold up a little bit better, they're building support, they're holding levels, then I'll be fine adding into those. So that's at least my plan. We'll see. We will see. Look at that. Coinbase now going to go below 380. Is it going to go below 380? Ooh, it's close. It's close. It's really close. If it goes below, that would be pretty. I don't know. It could be a pretty big dip if it doesn't drop below. Just short. A quick dip. Maybe it comes back. There it goes. Look at this. So you're gonna lose a couple dollars on that quickly. Look at that. 377.25. $3 dip, just like that. Yeah, every now I'm looking at my watch list or my stuff. It's all red. Oh man, 62.6 is the number on Bitcoin for now. It's not like Bitcoin's selling off massively. But coin is getting taking a little brunt. Don't know if I want to stomach this. I don't honestly. I don't know why I didn't sell. I should have just scalped, but that's hindsight, right? But I think under 4 is. I thought under 4 is a decent spot. Personally, so I snagged some, but now we're dipping. I can always buy more if I want to. This keeps going down, right? But it's just like the market's also coming down too. Look at SPY. SPY is dipping. Oh, what happened? What's up with this? SPY just got crushed. Wow. I wonder what's up with that. I had SPY puts, or I have them somewhere. Let's see. Let's go back to coin. See, it's down to 375. But let's see. What goes down comes up. I wonder what the news is on SPY. Everything's getting hit right now. Everything's getting crushed. Let's see. NASDAQ took a dive too. Let's just straight down. The Dow was still green, but it just took a hit for sure. SPY's trying to bounce a little bit. I wonder what that was. I'm trying to see if I can find news. I can't find anything as of yet. Meanwhile, Coinbase is just hovering. See if I can find any news on what's going on with SPY. If there had to be some news or some Fed thing or something like that, you know. I'm sure. Let's see. Honestly, not to be the bear here, to be completely honest, but Bitcoin's coming down too. It may be time to reassess and think about the other side here. I'm just thinking about Riot and Mara and stuff like that because, okay, yeah, well, I was long on these. I'm just thinking about like, okay, where's Mara at? Where's my Mara position? It's kind of bouncing, but I'm thinking these are puts. I think I'm going to get out of this and go puts because this is Bitcoin's pulling back, coin's pulling back, right? And if this was the whole thing, right? If this was the story, and now coin's dropping, kind of, right, from where it was. There could be a pretty big down. There could be some big downside with these plays, Riot and Mara, especially from where they were. So I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna flip sides here while we're going live, and maybe I'm gonna get double screwed, but we're gonna flip sides. I'm gonna just get rid of this, just clean up that Mara. And I'm gonna go puts. I'm gonna do puts. I think it's going to go lower today, and especially how I think Riot probably has more downside. Mara looks like it wants to go lower, so I'm going to go lottery size in this, but I'm going to go to 43 puts. Let's do those. Let's buy 5 just for now, and see at the what do we got? 430. I'll pay 436 on those Mara 43 puts for this week, and we'll see if this pays, right? Okay, I think it filled like 2 contracts so far. Nah, I filled 5. Okay, so I got 5 of those. All right. And then while we're here, let's take a peek at how Riot is holding up. Now, I don't want to be selling into the lows of these things, but look at Riot. It's getting crushed. So I have Riot contracts. I got to go into my orders and sell and get rid of these. Cancel that order just so I can, this way I at least like salvage. I'm not going to ride these into zero. I want to salvage something out of these. And so this way, how many do I have? Today was so yeah, I hear you on that. It was, but I think there's a big downside trade here. I think potentially right now, at least the rest of the day, maybe into the rest of the week. Let's see if we can get rid of this. Sell at 103. Will that fill? Okay, filled. So I salvaged $300 out of that, which was fine. I'll take that. But now I'm going to look at Riot puts. And I'm going to play Riot and Mara puts and see how far these, ride them down for at least today, and we'll see how this plays. Yeah. It sounds kind of weird that I'm doing that, but that's the move, it looks like, because there's bigger downside here, I think. Let's go with these. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do 5 of these. 5 puts at the 2, what is this? I want to pay like 230 something for that. Okay. Those should be in. Okay, we got puts. We got puts on those, so now we're at least protecting the downside on those names, but we'll see how this plays out now. Will we pan out? Let's see. Are we what are these? What do we got? So we have Mara puts. Did I sell? I sold puts? Oh my gosh. Did I sell? What did I do on these Mara puts? I sold puts. I'm up on that. I gotta what did I do? I gotta close this. I sold puts instead of buying them. Jeez, man. Well, it worked. Made like 70 bucks in that, but let's go back and play the actual side that I wanted to play on those. Okay, well, let's see. That's Mara bounced a little bit off of that, so let's see how this plays out. Let's watch. I have riots. The Bitcoin's pulling back pretty nasty. They pulled back a lot today, so I don't know how much downside the put will have now that I think about it. But going to coin, it's sitting here at the 375 support it has now. We'll hold the riot puts and we'll play that for now, and we'll go with those for today. Let's see. Big baggies at coin. Yep. There's a SPY puts. Those are showing up now. They're oh wow, that's actually green. Those are nicely green. Oh, SPY's down a decent amount now. Can I see if there's any news? I don't know what the news is, but I didn't average into those options. Yeah, so I have, what do I have? I have SPY for 409s for like the end of the month is what I have on those. Yeah. So we'll see how this plays out. Let's see. Fed share, Powell said cryptocurrencies are vehicles for speculation. They're not really being actively. There you go. There you go. Okay, well, let's take Mara puts now. There you go. I mean, it's all you need. So I ended up selling those puts. It worked because it was a bounce play, but I ended up stupid. I'm buying puts on Mara. These are day trade ideas. These are not like, okay, we took puts on Mara. Yeah, I mean that's not good. Look at coin, it's plummeting. Go to the coin. Yeah, look at this. Oh my gosh. Now I feel like an idiot now for buying this thing up here and not selling over 400 when I had the chance. But everything's getting crushed. What else is down? Is there anything else that's like massively down? This could be good ideas for overreaction plays though too. FTCV, this is definitely not coming back. Let me get rid of this. I gotta get rid of. I have open orders on that. Let me kill that. Cancel. Sorry, I'm just kind of like cleaning things up while I have the chance. So FTCV, I'm going to close this position while I have, because these are lottery plays, and now while there's still value, I'm trying to get rid of these things while I have, while there's at least value, so I salvage some things. I don't want to let them expire worthless and lose the whole boat on those, which they were lottery plays for a reason, right? So I'm fine with what happened on those. But now look at these riot puts. Look at this. I bought this at 250 and it's at 3. So that was a quick move. It's where you kind of be on your feet and adapt. Now, I'm still getting crushed for the week, right? But look at these Mara puts. I bought these at like 240 something, I believe. And now those are pushing. So you're seeing it, for sure now. Yeah. Coin pulling back. Yeah. Yep. I don't know what happened to SPY. I'm not sure. I think the Powell said something which along those lines. I'm not sure if that was why SPY fell, but whenever he talks, it's like, careful. Careful. How far down can coin go is the question. I mean, should I flip a short quickly short it and then come back long eventually? Or should I buy a dip? That's the hours ago. Maybe they did. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to that. Same average in coin. Yeah, I bought it like pretty much right away when it hit. Which, looking back as a trader, I probably should have sold this thing when it was up 10% because it was up pretty much like 8 to 10%. But I did not. So here we are. Now, if we want to pull up Mara, it fell through this area. I don't like it anymore. This is looking pretty dirty on it because it fell through. This was the last kind of ditch support. I would say down towards like this thing come down towards 40 would be the next area that I would be watching, and it could go more, especially because Bitcoin's coming down. Oh my gosh, this is a big short too. Wow. I mean, I'm getting. It could have been worse if I held my long positions on those things. I have these SPY calls or these SPY puts for end of the month. I think I got them at like 318 is my average, and it's at they're at like 390 now. I don't have much. I don't think, but those are paying. SPY is down here. It started falling off today, but look at where it's at. I mean, I'm not surprised that it's where it is. I'm not surprised it's pulling back. But yeah. Let's see. All right. Let's see. SPY Shrine. Not right. It's not. It's still in such a straight off a cliff. Anything else? I have these EBON calls. I don't even know why I have these things anymore. Let's get rid of these because these are not needed. Where are they? Can I even salvage I can salvage $10 on them, which I'll take. Why not? Yes. So the Riot calls, they're up that much. The Riot calls are up $250 just like that. They're up 20% since I bought them. I mean the puts. Mara puts are up 5%, so they're up $72. No, now the Riots they're up 20%. So yeah, it's interesting. My SPY puts are up 20% as well. So crazy, but I kind of felt like it was time to. It was not a terrible idea to make that switch. At least short term. I may even take some of this off. So let's see. We'll watch Riot really quick. Let's look at the chart on Riot and we'll see. To make $250 like that fast, I think is decent. But look at Riot, okay? So what you want to see here if you're a bull is you want to see it holding support here around 49.50 and bouncing back up. But if this plummets down through and drops another leg, then that would not be good. Which we'll see. We'll watch it. Dogecoin, I don't know. I think it's a meme, but I don't know. It honestly was setting up pretty decent past couple of days. I was noticing it, and then what happened was it blew up when Bitcoin kind of hit new highs, and then I think that was where you take your profits personally. But that's it. That's me. So here's Coinbase, right? Sitting at 366 now. So it took a tumble off of where it was for sure. Super tough trading environment right now, at least. Unless, I mean, there are people who are obviously killing it, right? But it's seemingly very tough, this current environment that we're in general. Should have held my Riot puts today. We'll see. I have them. I'm ready to I'm fine to take profits on them if we watch them and things turn. Let's just see. The ones I bought are gonna be super volatile because they're for this week's expiration. So, of course, what'll happen here will be Riot and Mara will rip into the close and I'll be screwed. But I think it's a decent play at least. EBON. I still think that these things will bounce at some point. EBON is still in a decent spot. EQOS, unfortunately, got shellacked today. If we take a look, this thing was doing good, and then boom, just got destroyed. And that was actually before the coin IPO hit. So it's not like, okay, the IPO came out and this thing was off a cliff. No, that happened before. LGHL, wow, LGHL, it's back down towards my average. That's nuts. Thing was up over, it hit 379 in pre-market. Thing was at 350 like, an hour ago. Wow. That's crazy. That is nuts. Bitcoin bouncing a little bit here. Bitcoin bounced a little bit. If we go back to coin, what's the coin doing? 368 right now. Yep. How much? I'm probably down a lot on that too. What am I down at? Down $260. So that's great. All right, I'll pull back up our Riots and Mara plays. See, I would expect if Riot's going to recover up, it's going to recover, over this 51 next. If not, I think it comes down and goes for more to the downside, but we'll see. Yeah, finally. Yeah, there's a decent amount of small caps that were green, and then I think SPY dipping is kind of like shaking things up a little bit as of right now, but yeah, for sure. For sure. I think what's crazy is that these Mara puts that currently in, right, from yesterday to now, obviously to now, because Mara is down a lot, 14%, they're up 548%. That's insane. Would you play the long side? Yeah, I wouldn't be a terrible idea. It would not be a terrible idea. I have a put for now. We're gonna see if we see some downside short term, and then I wouldn't be opposed to it. The thing I was seeing is that coin pulled back, right? And we saw Bitcoin pull back. So that's what I flipped quickly into that. But what is my average on those things? 31, and then the Maras I have 37 or have 50s. So if those hit, if those pop, then yes, I will take profits on those things fairly quick. Let's see. I'm going to be watching this. Here's Riot. If it comes back a little bit more, these calls, I'll just take profits quickly. So let's watch Riot on this little pullback here. And we'll see. Yeah, you can't paper trade options on Webull, unfortunately. You can do it on TD Ameritrade, though, I think, which is great, but you cannot do it on Webull. All right, so market's bouncing a little bit. Coin's back to 370. Just trying to bottom out here. I think the thing about Coinbase, too, is that I think it'll be good. As long as, here's the thing, as long as Bitcoin stays strong, as crypto stays strong, and as much as Powell's saying one thing, I don't think that really matters in reality. So this could be, honestly, it could be a decent dip opportunity, relatively speaking, right? It could be. We'll see, though. So coin pulling back. Let's see if we can get pull back on these guys, and then we'll take the profits, and then we'll move on. Because just kind of got this, the IPO crushed, not crushed, but it took me down a decent chunk. Once it came out, I was down as it was, but it took me down further. Then I had the chance to take my $200 profit if I wanted it on coin and didn't do it. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Base hits, I think, well, in this market, it's base hits. I think that's what the problem that I kind of been having is that it's not necessarily, not that I'm trying to swing for the fences on stuff, but the problem is that I'm not taking the base hits, and I'm either holding for, I want a bigger move on that, or I want this or something, and it ends up hurting me. So it's a good learning experience for sure, though. Let's see. Go back to Bitcoin and check on the price action. Bitcoin 62.2. Hard pull down, to be honest, on Bitcoin. But it came down to an interesting spot because it pulled back, right? But it pulled back pretty much like this is an area here, right? I'll draw this line in. Right here is 61.3 area. Resistance, building is kind of close to support. The run yesterday was nice, and honestly, that was where it was. That's where the money was. The problem, at least I had, was I was trying to milk more out of the move that didn't need to be milked out of the move, in a sense. So, didn't need to do it, and that's what I did. 51 on Riot. Yep, let's see if it could push us back up over these levels. I wouldn't be surprised if it's down 14% today. It's not going to be down like this that bad. It's not going to be down that bad for this long. It also bounced off the 50 SMA here at like $50. So that's an interesting. Oh, that's a support. That's an area of support to watch. It's been holding that for a while. So we'll see. But a lot of volume today for sure. Now it's coming down a little bit more, but a lot of volume. Lots of volume here. On this guy, on Riot, Mara, man, they traded a lot of volume, especially ever since the IPO. They've been trading a lot more volume, and it's been generally to the downside. Trying to bounce a little bit now, but it's been generally down. So, NASDAQ is down, but it's been bouncing. I think you honestly can see a decent correlation between Riot and the NASDAQ to a degree as well. Held my 365 Costco call. That's the thing also sucks. That's why I'm not a huge options guy, because simply just because of that, right? Is because you can get screwed. The stock may not move, which if you had shares, you're like, okay, whatever. But if that happens, you can get screwed because of the expiration time. You can get screwed over pretty hard. So let me put this guy in. Let's see if I can snag that at the 50, 45. Just if I can get those off the table. Just snag a little something on those Riot plays. Yeah. So Bitcoin is looking like it's trying to possibly get back up. Follows the cues. Yeah. Where is she doing? Back to 5106. Let's see. What do I have on these Mara calls too? These I had in the 30s. Oh, sorry about that. I'll see if I can. Let's watch this for a little bit longer, and then if it takes me out for a small gain, I'll take the gain. What do we got here? I'm up 50, or was like up $50-ish in those. Okay, so the Riots I made like $70 on for a quick little scalp day trade, I guess. And then I have the Mara puts that I'm holding a little bit more for now, just to recoup, in a sense, some of the pain that we experienced earlier today. So we'll see if Mara can stay over 43. If it can't, that would not be ideal. Let's see. Go back to the coin. Oh yeah, coin fell off again. Yeah. Have you heard of Pharma Trust? I have not. But we're at 366 now on coin. What's Bitcoin doing? It's trying to rebound a little bit. And Mara, I have those puts from. I have 250s, so we'll give them a little bit. I didn't get the best fill on those. I unfortunately made a mistake. If you guys are watching live when I did those, I sold puts or something, and then I bought them back. I wanted to buy puts quickly in this range, and then I bought it, and then it worked out because it bounced, and I made a few dollars in that, and then I ended up going short on them. So we'll see. But Mara seems pretty weak out of both. If I had to pick one to stay with puts, that's why I was fine taking the $70 profit on the Riot puts. And now the Mara ones I'll keep because this one seemed like it was trading a little bit weaker. I would think Mara could come down to like $40-ish potentially. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it bounces from here. But let's see. ANTE is still in a decent spot. I'm not going to sell that. It's still sitting in a decent spot. EBON, I still like where it's at, to be honest. I'm not going to sell that at the extremely oversold levels. No need to do that. EQOS, also sitting here like literally at 10. I mean, I would say $10 would be my area. Don't really want to see it going below $10 on EQOS. I sold some for a decent profit earlier, and then I held the rest, and then it just said nope. LGHL, I also still like that, so I'm not gonna freak out on this one. Just gonna give it a little more time. I think I said AIRO I think could be a bounce play. Difficult market for sure. Yes, it is. But that's how it is, It's how, because retail did so well for a while. Then you throw in retail was doing great, the past year. And then you throw on top of that the GameStop fiasco. Yeah, you kind of knew it was coming. You knew something was coming. Is that Voyager? I have Voyager actually in my TD for an OTC play. I have Voyager, so I actually have some. I'm just gonna ride that one, however that goes. SPY bounced pretty nicely off of where it was, so cool. Yeah, the market's bouncing back up from where the lows it just hit a few minutes ago, which is interesting. I still don't know if we had there was no official news. Okay. What else is moving here? It sucks too, because usually I'm someone who trades the small caps and I primarily would focus on that stuff, but there's just, if you're looking at the board right now for small caps, even just like any stock, right? What's up the most? Discovery Class B shares. I mean, I'm not touching that, but TV is up 22%. SBTX is up 40. Well, this is like a higher price stock. It's up 20%. CDEV is up 17%. I mean, that's not unheard of, but that's ridiculously cheap. I mean, cheesy for these small cap plays. There's nothing. Coin bounce at 350. Yeah, well, it's got some support in the low 360s, but it looks like it wants to go lower. As we're speaking, it's probably going to go lower right now. 362. Yep, there it goes. So what this ended up being, I think, for a lot of people, and when this ended up potentially showing, is when everyone's looking one way. It was the somewhat of the concern that I was saying yesterday in yesterday's video. The concern was when everyone looks one way, maybe you want to look the other way. Now, the first 5-10 minutes out of the gate, Coinbase looked like it was going to go crazy and going to go to 500. But then quickly after that, it got hammered down, and now the thing is down, and it has been downtrending since. So it seems like everyone's like, okay, whatever, who cares? Now, if you're buying Coinbase, you're in this thing for maybe for a longer term position. You're not buying Coinbase out of pure hype and all that. So We'll see how this plays out, but I personally think, and I think if you guys, I'm not sure if I haven't actually seen it, but I've seen enough opinions about other people's thoughts on it. A lot of people agree that I think that Coinbase, well, first of all, they're giving it some high price targets. Number one, there's some crazy price targets out on that. We can actually pull up. I want to see if we can pull up on here. Let's see if it's even up. Coin on tip ranks. No, we want Coinbase. I don't think it's on tip ranks yet. It's not. Okay. But I believe there are some price targets like $600. There's something $490, something like that, I believe, from some analysts on Coinbase. Whether that means anything to you or not, I don't know. But let's see. There's at least some of that support to it. Now we got BTC just started to bounce. Yes, it did. Back to 62.5 now. $1,000 bounce on Bitcoin. Yet Mara just not really doing it. So I still have those puts that I would probably like to get out of soon, just to take quick profits on those if let's get those turn around. And then I'll reassess for what I want to do going forward. I think it's I don't really want to bet against. The problem with this is that I do believe that Mara and Riot, there's potentially a massive downside trade on these things. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to take that downside, I guess, bet on these things with Bitcoin as strong as it has been. I just don't want to do that. So I'll take it short term like we're seeing right now. I just took them a short term kind of trade on them, but that's really it. Percentage wise, this is probably going to be, well, we'll see how it finishes. I got Thursday, Friday to go. What is Coinbase at? 360 now? Is that the low of the day? Yeah, new lows of the day. We got Mara falling off as well. I think it's to a degree. It's kind of following Coinbase a little bit, because if you look at Bitcoin, right, which is weird, right? You look at Bitcoin, it's bouncing. Mara is dropping. Coinbase is dropping. So it's like what is it correlating with? I don't know. It's been tough it's been just one of those like weird stocks to follow. It really has been. What's Riot at? Riot's at 51. Yeah. Huh. I don't play straddle options really. The thing with Coinbase too is that, think about this, right? Everybody who got in before the retail guys can get in, like us, right? What are they probably doing? I mean, think about, they made so much money, or they're, on this thing, that it's like, I gotta sell something, right? So you're getting kind of some of that. So give it some time, let things settle out, and then it could be a decent opportunity to kind of snag a reversal or snag something along those lines. So, yeah. Meanwhile, as we're speaking, EQOS just plummeting off the bottom. Wow. All right, well, what's Mara doing now? Mara's fallen off. Yeah, ouch. That just keeps going down. So the puts I have there are now up a little bit. Well, I'll probably see if I can do, let's take them off here at, let's see if we get like a 75. 275, I'll take those. I'll take those profits. I mean, I don't know how much more Mara is going to go down today, to be honest. But let's see. Let's see. Pull that bad boy back up. Okay. Right. Yeah. Okay. So let's pull up Riot here. So let's pull them back. This and Mara down 15 plus, or down around 15% today, both of them, right? My question is, can they go down more in the short term? Sure. But do we see some big bounces back in these guys once this Coinbase stuff settles down and whatever? Do these bounce big? I mean, that's certainly a possibility. If I'm looking at it now, it's we'll see. How do you get a chart for options? Well, I have if you click into my position, I can actually pull up the option kind of chart, which is like a weird thing, but that's what it comes up as. And it can show you. It's not going to be as fluid as like a normal stock chart because there's less volume, but it'll show you the option, how the option has been trading roughly, which sometimes on super liquid options, it's great because you can really see. Like if I was looking like Apple options, yeah. But for the most part, it's going to be kind of scattered. Kind of, Late to the party, but it's all good because Coinbase keeps going down, so. We had this scalp. I had the scalp on the table. I just didn't take the scalp. I was looking for more. Got greedy on it. Now the market's going back. So that's definitely not helping, I would think. But if we look at pull up Mara now, it's trying to bounce. Let's see if it gets rejected here at this area again. BBKCF. I don't know anything about it. It sounds like it's like OTC or something. I'm not a big OTC guy either. So coin 356. Sheesh. Sell the news. Sell the news. Buy the rumor, sell the news. One of the biggest lessons I think a lot of people are probably going to take away from this whole thing, which is fine, and it's good because it's the hype or the sympathy plays or whatever you want to call it, all that stuff. The peak of it was after hours or pre-market hours today. It's a coin. Oh yeah, a crypto too. I'm not a big. I don't know much about crypto stuff. I have Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stuff, but I don't know. I just have a buy and hold and an idea or strategy behind it. I have no I'm in huge on these cryptos. SPACs are totally dead right now, but that'll turn at some point. It will turn at some point. FRX I like it long. FRX actually, by the way, is under $10. I think that's a buy, but I have it in my IRA. At least that's what I'm doing with it. Yep. I don't know how. I think Mara. It's going to depend on. It's just weird. It's acting so weird, Mara. I think. So I can't say. I think it's acting super weird though. Yeah. It's not okay. It's correlating exactly to Bitcoin, or it's correlating exactly to Riot, or it's correlating exactly to QQQ or NASDAQ, or it's correlating to Coinbase right now. It's not correlating to any of those things. So I have no idea. It's just a weird one for sure. If I'm not long in Bitcoin right now, I think I think now, buy some now. Buy it in BlockFi or something. I know people are skeptical about that, but you're earning interest. So the way that I see it is I don't have a ton of money in it. So if something was to happen, obviously I wouldn't be happy if I can't get my money out of there, right? But the concern about BlockFi is okay, how are they paying these crazy high interest rates on crypto? So I totally hear you on that. But for me, it's I'd rather take that with the volatility of crypto and have that interest rate kind of balance out a little bit of that volatility. So that's what I do. So you get like a pretty high interest rate on that. So yeah, Coinbase good to buy. I think it's honestly, I think under 400, under 5. I was saying under 500 I would take it, and I did. I took it under 400. I guess that's what we got. I think it's not a terrible idea for a little bit of a longer term speculative, a little bit, but I think it's not a terrible play. Now the thing is, you're going to need to see, you're going to let things kind of play out, let the churning through, let everybody who was in early before all the retail guys sell their shares, make their money, and then we'll see how the true value stacks up and how the numbers stack up going forward. Right? Coinbase may come back with Bitcoin hitting all-time highs again, right? And if Bitcoin continues to push, right, what you may see is that Coinbase crushes it, the next quarter. And if they do, then let's get this guy. If they crush it next quarter, then you're going to see some great earnings, right? And then you're going to be right back in play with it. So I think it's not a terrible idea, but buying into the hype is a risky day. So like buying it today, you have to understand that you're playing with the significant risk. So when I bought it before so for those who are tuning in now, I bought it back in here before the run. I could have sold it for a nice 10% gain. I didn't. And not that I wanted more. I was like, well, I might hold this for a couple of days if we get some more, push behind this for the next couple of days. And so it's not paying off now. The short would have been great, but what do I know? Go to Mara here. Mara bouncing a little bit up off these levels. Let's see how I think it could be the selling could be exhausted, it seems like, for now at some point with Mara. Let's see. I'll give it a little bit longer, and then I'll get rid of those puts that I had on it, and then we'll just toss those up for potential. Let's go about a break even on those, and then we'll reassess. I want to reassess for sure into tomorrow. I don't even know what to expect on the next bit of this move. Where are those Mara puts? Yeah, okay. Super weird action across the board though. Number one, you don't have small caps doing anything. They're just dead. You got crypto, which none of the crypto plays. Well, Mara is an exception, I think. But Riot nowhere near where it was back when Bitcoin was over 60K last time. And all the small cap plays, like a lot of those stocks, nowhere near where they were back when Bitcoin was at its highs last time. So it's super weird. Super weird. But it's the status. That's the status of the market that we're in right now. 318, a good buy for LGHL. That 318 sounds familiar because I think that's my average. Yep. It's my average. I like it. I like it down the low threes. I think you're just seeing, I think at this point it's like, okay, you're just seeing, reactions up, down for all this stuff that's going on. I don't think it's a big deal anymore. I think we'll iron out everything over the next couple of days. And then these stocks will actually kind of be more of their true value plays. So LGHL, I like it down here on $3. That's just my take on it as it is. Let's see. Comms is green. It had news. So Comms is just weird, man. I'll buy 100 shares. I'll buy one more 100 shares of this guy, just to start easing our way in to some of these guys. Because I want to start adding back into my swings again. Well, we'll see. Has the stock market come in? No, it has. The theory that at least I kind of have on it is that the past year has been insanely profitable for retail traders, and and then you top it off with the end of January, early February, the GameStop, all that stuff. That you top it off with that got. Now here's the thing, right? Prior to that, the way it worked was that we understand that it's a rigged game, and you play the game knowing that it's rigged, right? Then people got caught up, and people got kind of full of themselves saying, hey, you know what? We can beat and we can take down, the big guys, the hedge funds, and it's all the retail against them. Sounded cool, right? Sounded cool until now, where it's like, okay, here's how it actually is, guys, and you're seeing the big money taking advantage. That's how I think it's what's happening right now. 350 on Coinbase now. 350 on Coinbase. So we'll see if it bounces off that level. But I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if if things stay rocky for a little bit longer. Coin goes under 300. Yeah, if coin goes under 300, I think honestly, I think it's totally it. Like, I think under 400 is pretty good, but just let it play out. I'm not gonna sell my 10 shares and I only have 10 shares. I mean, I'll buy more if I want to, if I really want to buy more. But let it play out. We'll let the dust settle, and then I'll buy more if I want to, and then that's it. So I'm kind of riding some for, I guess, a shorter term potential play, but we'll see. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I think I hit it nail on the head. I think that's what happened. I think that's really what happened, realistically. Whether, there's not, I guess, fact or like, oh, here's exactly what happened to back it up to a degree, but big money, right? The retail guys won for too long, and now you're seeing how they're going to get taken to the woodshed, in a sense, So it's been tough. It's been tough, but it's fine. It's a period where you have to just slowly learn to adapt, and as long as you can do that, you'll be okay. But if you can't adapt, and you're unwilling to adapt, then that's where you run into trouble. There's no need to be like, to fight things and say, no, this is how it was before. I want to wait. No, just adapt, like slowly adapt. 275 and I'm in. Got April 30th calls from Mara. Do you think it possibly climb? Yeah, I don't know. Where is Mara? How's Mara doing right now? It's just a weird, not Macy's. It's just a weird stock. It's super weird. I think it's probably looking like it wants to bounce into the end of the day. So let me get rid of these. Where do I have these guys? Let's modify these guys here. So we get taken out of those. And then, I don't know. My only thing with Mara, if we dive into the daily chart on it, is that it took a weird turn because it started to deviate from Riot. So they're not necessarily, going hand in hand. So it started to deviate from Riot, and then it pulled back here. I think it's a decent spot in the 43 area, is just generally a decent pullback zone. I don't know. There's going to be my concern with these stocks is that there's going to be a big downside play on them, I think, at some point. And if Bitcoin can hold up, you're probably fine. But if Bitcoin decides to take a dump or a pullback, a pretty hard pull, then these are stocks that are probably going to pull back too. And those are dip buys. And so that's the problem with options, though, is that it's like, yeah, there's just the risk reward does it make as much sense? I don't know on some of that. So let's see if we can get these guys. Just take them out. What's the position of this thing at? Okay, so we're out of those. Kind of freshen the slate. Clean the slate a little bit today, which is good. What are we at in terms of cash? I still got 24,000 cash in the account, but I don't know if I really wanted to. I feel like that's not that much. Oh, because I bought Coinbase. That's why I thought I had more. Yeah, that thing is bleeding me out. Wow, how much am I down on that stupid Coinbase already? Down 12%, which is $500 on those shares. Woo. I'm expecting a pullback on SPY. I think it needs a pullback. I think a lot of the Chinese stocks are going to be fine. I think you're just seeing a lot of freaking out right now. So, Saga screwed things up. Yeah, I think for sure. You're just not seeing it being easy to. It's just not easy to to capitalize on the way, at least the way things were. If I was oh wait, what did I do? Oh, I'm gonna delete that in a second. I was trying to see if I could, if it was possible to short, or if there was borrowing fees in this thing. Favorite sectors? I still like the sports betting sector, which, I mean, the one in that one is ELYS for me personally. I like Penn, but that's, I guess, like a more like a long-term investment in a sense, slash swing. Down where it's at. It dipped down under $100 yesterday or something like that. So I think Penn's solid. And then I really like the mining plays. So the rare earth mining plays, MP being like the bigger one, but then AREC is one that I like. I like WWR graphite. I mean, if you don't have some of these things, you don't get the EV batteries that we're going to have, right? So you kind of need it. And then I have one more. Where's the other one that I have? I have PLM as well. Those are some ones that I like, sitting down relatively towards support levels, I think. So I like them. And then WWR, what do I have? Let me see if I can actually... I think it's getting to a pretty good spot, but I only have I leave 100 shares on just so that I can kind of watch these stocks. I'm going to snag 100 more on WWR as we speak, because Yep. Okay. So I'm just going to I'm slowly adding back into some of those, but yeah. Look at Coin, man. One of the biggest sell the news. This just confirms the thesis, I think, of what's going on right now. So we were talking about how the retail, right, ever since the GameStop stuff, it hasn't been the same. Has not been the same. Hasn't been as easy, I guess, or you can say, right? Or what was working then really wasn't. But what we're seeing now is that there was so much hype behind this thing. There was everybody talking about it, and now you're seeing a massive sell-off. So it's when everyone's looking one way, you want to make sure you're looking the other way. And it's tough to do. It's tough to do that for the most part when there's so much hype and you get caught up in that stuff. But that's what's working. That's what's working. Huge sell-off. Yeah, it's starting to accelerate. The sell-off is accelerating right now. Yeah, I'm getting to that point too, where I'm like, I probably just want to just trim my shares off and then buy this thing back another time, or just buy Bitcoin. Yeah, that's the thing. Just buy Bitcoin, right? That's how I kind of see it. I just have Bitcoin and buy that. Yep. We got a bleeder of a day here. EQOS, this thing is going to fall below 10. That thing looks super weak. Let me just trim that. Just for now, because there's no need to be in this thing right now. Coinbase is not going to, I don't think it's going to be a something that just is gone. Like, I don't think it's this we're going to see what the true value ends up shaking out to be, and as next earnings come out and things like that. And so it's play the longer game. I think people need to understand, if you're buying Coinbase now, I don't think it's worth buying it for the scalp. Maybe you could scalp it here, but it seems like you're in a just downtrend right now. So I don't know. I mean, we don't have much support resistance action on it, right? But depends on your timeline if you want to keep that share, right? I have 10. I threw that in for fun. Could have taken profits, didn't. I was like, oh, I'll play this one a little bit longer. I'm not going to hold it for for 2 seconds. And then I was up a couple $100, but now I'm down a couple $100 because I'm watching it bleed. But yeah. Let's see. Yeah, this is a brutal day. Mara, how's Mara doing now? Oh wow, it's coming back down. Yeah, the market's coming down. Coinbase pulling back. It's just looking nasty out there. It does look nasty. So, wow. I'm surprised, though. I'm surprised we got... I'm trying to make sure. Let's see what I have. Anything else? The only option I have is that. So, yeah. So, we're just riding what we got here. Unfortunately, the whole... let's see. Let's see. Just straight on down. Huh. Let's see. I'm seeing more and more stuff on the sports. I love the sports gambling space because I'm seeing more and more stuff about Alabama has now approved to allow sports betting. You're getting more and more states. That's why I'm super bullish on ELYS and I mean Penn as well. DKNG. Got it at 395. I got it at 393. Yep, same. I'm in the same boat. Yeah, I think the wheel strategy is solid. This is a decent time for that stuff. You know? We'll see. 330. Wow, this is just a straight off sell-off. Straight sell fest on this bad boy. Wow, 326. How low is it? Is it going to go sub 300 by the end of the day here? It might. It might go sub 300 by the end of the day. The market being, I mean, SPY is dipping, so that's not helping. But I don't know how much that really means for Coinbase, right? On a fresh, direct listing. I guess technically not like an IPO, a direct listing play, right? This thing might go. We might honestly go below. We might. Unfortunately, I only had one of my. I was gonna start scaling into my SPY puts. I only had one, and it's up 20% today. So, what could have been hundreds is like $80. That's the thing too, is that when you see something like this, what this is doing, I think, is it's accelerating the sell-off. Number one, you're probably getting all the guys from the inside, the institutions or whatever, or and the insiders who have probably trimmed a good chunk of their Coinbase. But to that degree, you're getting that sell-off further by panic sellers of people saying, "Oh my gosh, it's going down, it's going down, it's going down." And that's what happens. So, would have been halted if market makers were getting wrecked. Yeah, that's true. It's funny though, but I think it's just a massive sell the news. We're kind of seeing, right? We're seeing a massive just unload. Sell the news kind of event in a sense. Everyone was going one way on it. When everyone's going one way, you don't want to be doing that. But at the same time, when everyone's looking one way, for example, like if everybody, like when Tesla, right, when ARK Invest and Cathie Wood came out with their bull thesis on Tesla, right, and it was like Tesla to 3,000 is their case, or bear case was like 1,500 and like bull case was 4,000. The problem with that, not the problem, but when that happened, right, hype, everyone's looking one way, right? Everyone's like, Tesla's going up. But what ended up happening the weeks after that, Tesla actually sold off quite a bit, and that was a decent trade. Now, of course, it recovers. And so longevity, right, longer term, the actual fundamentals of the company and things like that matter more, right? But that's what happened. The platform I'm using is Webull. That's what I'm using. Yep. Diamond hands. Let's see. SPY is dropping to lows of the day yet? It's close. SPY is close to the lows of the day. Let's see. Looks like it may want to go down below this. It's got like about 10 cents or 20 cents till it hits lows of the day. I think Coinbase longer term too is going to be very, very reliant on how hot crypto is. Just in general as a whole. Do we see, do we end up getting other like regulations that come and come into play? And I think that will defeat the purpose and defeat the whole point of crypto, right? If that happens. So I don't know. There's a lot of uncertainty, I guess, in that sense. But 325 is what's holding up now, at least Coinbase. We've yet to really see a bounce yet. Sour hour. There's nothing moving. There's no like runners. There's nothing. It's just absolutely dead right now, which is boring, but whatever. If it went larger float, cheaper share price, a lot more retail would have jumped and pushed the price up. Yeah, possibly, yeah. Plan on transferring all out of Robin into Webull. Yeah, that's I think that's not a terrible idea. The thing with Webull too is like, I mean, people are you can be against Robinhood because of all the things that happen, right? But on the other side of things, when it comes down to it, Webull with the extended hour stuff, I mean, it's just beautiful. I've actually been doing some smaller scalps overnight, and last night it was Mara, and it worked. I'll show you what I can pull it up. So if we go back, right, so Mara starts pushing up in the after hours, and what I did was I bought a good chunk of Mara, and I bought it like 51.30, so it was like back in here. And I ended up putting a sell for like 53.50 or something like that. And I just set it and forgot about it. I literally I didn't get up to sell it. I woke up and it had already sold, because I was just selling. That's the beauty of the 4 a.m. trading. You get those gap ups, I think, are great. So you can take advantage of that. That's why I like it. That's what I like it for. As we speak, look at Mara. It just keeps continuing to go down. So market going down is not helping that, obviously. Yes, it's definitely not helping. Pulling back pretty hard. Let's see. Not learning from the experience, the foolish mistake. Yep, Mara was the sell of the time. Riot too. The sell was pre-market today / after hours last night. That was it. So, yeah. Now you're seeing right now, we got SPY coming down to the lows of the day, and it's probably going to weigh down on some other stocks as well. So it's definitely not going to help. We'll see. NASDAQ, look at NASDAQ coming down in percent. The NASDAQ's been up a lot. If we take a look at this, I didn't even realize that. I looked at this earlier today. I was like, oh wow, it's been pushing up a lot after this downtrend break, even though it didn't seem like it. I'm curious actually what Tesla's been doing. Down 3% after a pretty big day yesterday. Yeah, it has. I just had this line in here to 780. 780 is area of resistance, and it came up to that area pretty early today and got rejected. So we'll see if it now holds up in the 725 area. 720, 725. If that holds up as support, that would be good for Tesla. But I mean, honestly, it made a pretty big move back to the upside yesterday. Really the past like 2 weeks. Well, I let go of those. I let go of the VXX, but the thing is, if I look at VXX now, it's still like, look at where it's at. It's really at the same spot it was yesterday, and I bought a SPY put. So my SPY put's up 20%. I just bought, I only bought one because I was going to average in, and maybe there is more to average into, but that was what I did. And then the VXX I just trimmed off because I felt that, okay, at this point I'm looking at it saying, you know what, VXX could pop a little bit even if SPY doesn't dip. But now VXX just seemed to be, even though SPY could fall off for a couple of days and it could be like a slower, kind of drain, but I don't know. I decided to switch it up and go put SPY puts instead. So, because if I'm looking at SPY, I have more, I guess, if I'm looking at SPY, right? If we're looking at the daily chart on SPY, super overextended. It's at my trend line that I have. It's a perfect spot for a pullback. And it doesn't have to pull back that hard. It pulls back down to 405, 400. Realistically, percentage-wise, that's not that big. But that would be a nice reset, and I'm fine with that. That's what that's what I'm looking for. Coinbase 310 now. Look at this. This is nuts. Let it fall under, and then, but I kind of bought, what I have up here. I'll let it fall down and I'll buy more once it goes under 3. But I'm not going to buy it like today. I'll let this thing settle out for a couple of days, at least, at this point. Coinbase is down because everyone's looking one way. Buy high, sell low. Yeah, if you're gonna sell now, you're selling towards the low of the day. I would say let's see how it shakes out over the coming. And see, now we're getting what looks like it's somewhat reversing off of here. We haven't really gotten. We'll see if this holds up. We haven't really gotten. We've been significantly in this downtrend. Let's see if we can draw a trend line. Let's see if we break this trend line. Well, that's what we kind of have for now. Until we break that, it's still downtrending. But yeah. Longer term, I think I've used Coinbase a long time ago. I know people who love it. I think for most people, it's simple enough that for most people it works, right? I am not like someone who's deep into the crypto space. I put my crypto in BlockFi, so that's my extent of it, right? But I think it could be. We'll see how time progresses. I think the problem is that they had that quarter one, right? Those quarter one numbers from this year, which were ridiculous, right? And so everyone got hyped up about it, and that's why you kind of see what happened today. And now it's really going to be, does Bitcoin continue to stay up where it's at? Does the interest stay there? And are people using Coinbase, right? People, or where are the competitors coming? So now we're kind of breaking that downtrend to a degree. And are there competitors? So do we see competitors that step in? What do you have? Voyager is one of them, right? You have other platforms too. Do they step up and take some of the market share away? I don't know. So that's what we have to obviously see longer term. But I think as of this bull market for crypto, this could be a pretty hot stock if this bull market keeps up. So we'll see. Elon Musk tweeted that it was going to go down. Can you short coin? I don't even know. I could sell here. All right. Let me sell this, and I'll see if we can do it. Because I'd have to go into a. Let's see. Can I short it? It's not available for short on Webull, at least as of right now. So you can't, at least as of now. right, we'll see. Yeah. My calm sitting SPY. Those are almost up $1 off of where I had them. SPY puts. There's still probably, I think there's still a bigger trade there though. I think on SPY. But the thing is, for people who are tuning in now, when you see all the hype about it, when you see, I go back to Coinbase. When you see all the hype, when you see all that about something like this, that's exactly kind of why you're seeing it fall, I think. Either you wait for it to go, either wait for a dip, you wait for it to go lower or to calm down and buy it if you want to buy it then, or you let this, or if you have shares, either you average down whenever you feel comfortable, or you let this thing play out and you believe in it longer term and you believe that their numbers continue to increase. And if you think that's going to happen and you think that this stays hot, then that's your thesis on the stock, right? There's too much uncertainty for me to be like massive bull on it. But I mean, I'll buy it to have fun and to join the party, right, to a degree, but I'm not going to be playing with money that I can't afford to lose, which is that's what I've been doing this week. And unfortunately, right, we took some L's across some other calls and lottery plays that we had for other stocks. But again, it's not money that I'm not playing with money that I can't afford to lose, so I'm okay with it, right? How do you see Dogecoin going? I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm not, I don't know. I think I bought some Dogecoin a while ago, but I sold it whenever it made the first spike. Something like that. Let's see. LMFA 115 could be a decent idea. I kind of like, actually, I don't have that much. Let me grab a little more of this. Just starting to get back into other swings that I like. Dip below my average, I'll take a little bit of that. Okay. There we go. See if that'll fill. Yeah. My dad's trying to call me. He's probably talking about the because he's in Riot. Let's see. He's been selling covered calls, which has been a solid strategy on Riot and stuff. That's, I think, one of the wheel strategy people are talking about. That's probably what's best to get through some rocky times like this, is you play large caps or something like that and just sell covered calls on it, you know. OCA, Gary tweeted, could OCA, I don't know. I watched the interview on OCA when they had Gary Vee and the other guy, I forget his name, from OCA on Benzinga. And it doesn't seem like Gary Vee actually really like knows what's going on inside of that. He's just, from Gary Vee's view, he's just betting on the people at OCA because they're people he's worked with before. He knows them well, and that's why he's in it. So that's why he's a part of it, right? That's what it seemed like. So I don't think that. I'm sure he knows what's going on behind the scenes, but I don't think that I wouldn't read too much into that, personally. We'll see. Let's pull it back up. Coinbase. We got bounce. We'll bounce. Downtrend break, bounce play. I wish they had options open. That would be hilarious. On Coinbase. SPY, let's see how SPY is doing. Oh, bouncing off the 410 or 411-ish area roughly so far. Not too bad. Not too shabby. Let's see. I'm surprised too. The other thing, I'm surprised that when it opened up on Webull, I think at least for Roblox, other IPOs, you couldn't trade it on Webull right away. I'm surprised that they had it under control where you can trade it on Webull. Options open in a couple weeks. Let's see. Let's see. Back bouncing to 330-ish now. All right. Yeah. Super slow day though. Well, let's check in on Mara and Riot. How are they doing? Yeah, they're holding up a little bit. They kind of held up in the 42 area. At least Mara did, and I'm sure Riot's similar. Riot is at 50-ish. Yeah. Roughly. Holding up. Is that because Bitcoin's holding up? Yeah, Bitcoin's holding up too. So yeah. Is Coin gonna keep going back up? I don't know. It's very volatile today, so it's gonna be, you're gonna have all this stuff. Sorry, spam. Wondering, SLNO chart. What do we got on that? Massive oversold. Farm play. Okay, let's take a look. That doesn't look too bad. We have support down here at 110-ish in the past. We're sitting here at 123. So that 111-ish, 110 area seems like it's a prior area of support. I would say, yeah, it's not a bad. Yeah, I just don't want to see it going below 1. Yeah. And you had a gap too. It's a nice play because if you get news right now we're not in the best climate for these news plays, these news runners, right? But eventually we're going to get one that eventually ignites a fire. But you get this thing over 175 and it's got a nice gap up here. So you can get a pretty, has the pieces for a move. It's just the climate right now isn't great. And so if they drop a PR or if this thing ends up popping, right now, I wouldn't say it's the best. But these are the times where you want to be averaging into these types of plays. If you like this play, if you've done some due diligence, then I think this play down here, you're risking 23 cents to the downside for, upside. I think I would look for first targets up to 150 plus, which maybe 150, 175. And then there's a gap, which gets interesting. I would say you probably would look towards like $2 because you have the 50 and the 200 SMA there. So I look towards $2. Wouldn't be a terrible spot. Where did I get the beanbag? I don't know. That was I forget where I got that. That was my girlfriend. She got that. She picked out all this stuff, couch, beanbag, all that stuff. Let's see. How is coin doing again? Bouncing quite decently off of 310 was the low of the day. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm going to sell coin soon for a profit and then I'll wait for a dip. The scalp opportunities, man, they are there. They are there. Let's see. Market bouncing back, SPY bouncing back a little bit. Dow is still green on the day. I think you're going to see, this is going to be, if it does keep pushing on up, you're going to see right here, 350 will be resistance. Because that was where we kind of fell through the floor. And that was it. So that's the resistance point right there, I think, is 350 on coin. Imagine it rips after hours. I wouldn't be surprised. That would be hilarious, though. Yeah. But I mean, this is a significant bounce. I mean, it's what is that, a 10% bounce off the lows already. Huh. It's kind of crazy. So what I did was I checked. Oh shoot, yeah. I went to check if I could short. Oh my shoot. So I went to check if I could short, and by doing so, I had to have no position. So let's see. I ended up selling that to check if I could short, and I didn't buy it back. So let's see. I'll let this thing play out, and I'll still probably grab something just in case we get an after hours run or something like that. I'm gonna buy Tesla next week. I think I have a decent long position on Tesla, just holding that one. Holding it and not really worrying about it. To yesterday was nice to just like check in and be like, oh wow, we're up nice. But yeah. I'm trying to see I have my my BlockFi stuff, my crypto. It's still at like a all-time high in my BlockFi account, which is nice to see. Power hour push, possibly. Guess you bought 10 at 415. Oh man. I know a lot of people are gonna get hurt by it. I don't want to see that, but a lot of people will, probably. Yeah. NNDM, that's an interesting name, but NNDM I think has more room to come down. I think. Tried to break the downtrend today. Got up over 8 and then it pulled back. Let's see how it does. But I think it could come down a little bit more if it can't hold up here. Yes. Let's see. This could be a fun one too for like a scalp trade overnight. Like if let's say in the after hours Coinbase pushes up and it's got some decent momentum in the after hours, I don't know, well, who knows where it closes, right? Then what I would look to do is I would look to buy a chunk before the after hours closes and then set my sell order like 5 to 10% higher at, so 4 a.m. we get a quick push and yeah, it takes my profits off, I would look for something like that. But we'll see. I wish there was more to talk about too. I wish there was more. I mean, like GameStop is up a little bit. You see how like GameStop is sitting here though? Look at this resistance at VWAP, really strong, 161.75 area. That might get a power hour push. Looks like it wants to. I thought today was going to be good too, and for me, it was probably. No, I don't know. Well, because I had all those lottery options that I kind of had, which literally all went down. So, yeah. Yep. I probably am going to have a fat L. Well, not probably. I'm already taking a fat L this week. But it is what it is. And that's not because Coinbase screwed me over. I mean, I did lose some money on Coinbase, but that's because of my other plays that I was looking at in anticipation. Didn't make some big moves. Market conditions are just weird, and I played some options, which I usually don't do, but now you guys can kind of see why I don't do them. Because every time I do them and I have a play, I end up getting screwed either way. coin by the end of the business day on Friday? Who knows what coin's going to do by the end of the day on Friday? Who knows? I think you're going to see this is going to kind of shift its way out, sift out, and then we'll see how it plays out over the coming days. I think by Friday we'll get a decent sense as to where it will be holding up. I think, for sure. Super, super weird day. And also the other thing too, this thing coming out at like 1:26 p.m. It's like random. That's when it officially went live. Yeah, the platform I use is Webull. I like it a lot, especially for the 4 a.m. trading. I mean, that's like one of the biggest keys, I think, because at least lately, some of the scalps I've been doing like overnight, you can't do that without the 4. Like I wouldn't do that without the 4 a.m. trading option. Back over 400 by Friday. Who knows? Let's see how Bitcoin's doing. Bitcoin pulling back. I'm surprised Bitcoin pulling back a little bit here. I'm surprised that Coinbase is pushing up. They seem to have a similar kind of relationship. Seemed like it, at least. Startle would be such a bad idea. Yeah. If you're someone who's in it, I think the 400 talk and all that stuff, who knows? If it goes, Neo, I think is 35. 35 is the floor, I think, which we're close to it again. But yeah, I would like to see 35 holding up on Neo. But if Coin decides to go, who knows? If it goes back over 400, I think it's just you're playing off speculation. If it goes over those levels so fast, but I think it's just going to come down to the longevity of the company. If it's actually valued, if it actually makes sense to value it there, to a degree. It's rebounding quite nice, for sure. People are selling Bitcoin to buy coin, maybe. I think that's too. I think if anything, you would want to sell Coinbase to buy Bitcoin, right? That's what I would think, and that's what I would have done if I was someone who was an early investor and be like, okay, I'll trim X number of shares off my position of Coinbase, of my holding, and I will buy Bitcoin with that, and then I'll hold the rest, and that's it. That's what I would do. But who knows? Let's see how it closes up. I think if it closes up, well, this isn't volatile enough to halt. I mean, it could if you had enough volume, but it's not volatile enough to halt it. But yeah. PLTR looks dead. It was up a lot yesterday, so it pulled back today. Fine. Why does it drop it so quick? It's just volatile. It's just volatile right now. You got a lot of people buying and selling, so you have a lot of action. It'll slow down. The price action will slow down the next couple of days. But you want to give it time to shape up and assess, or really kind of find its bottom, find its floor, and then from there you can kind of get a better sense. And I'm someone who's pretty technical in nature. So what I would like to do here is watch this thing play out the next 2 days, 3 days. And by Friday, I think you can get a better sense of to like, okay, yeah, we got generally support here at 310. Let's say that area holds up a couple times, and maybe 350 is resistance, and we're kind of in this range, between those levels until you get a breakout either up or down. Then that's where we're kind of hanging out, until that happens. CHPT, I like that one. But I still think, actually, what I may do? In my longer term portfolio, do I have any money available? I'm trying to see if I have anything. I might buy a little bit in there just because I like to just buy it and forget about it in there, and I'll take it here, and I can buy more if I want to. Yes, that's what I'll do. Snag one of them in the long-term port, and then that'll be what we do. All right. CHPT, yep. I think we're going to just have to wait and see how this plays out. And for the longer term, I think you're going to be, honestly, I don't know. If this thing goes under 300, I think I would probably be buying a lot in the longer term portfolio. Based on the information we have now, based on everything, and as long as Bitcoin and crypto stays relatively hot, yeah, that's at least what I would do. Yep. That's at least my longer term thought on it. The problem is going to be the competition and how can they hold up and maintain market share. I didn't realize I had this still on the computer. Can they hold up and can they handle the competition going forward? I don't know if they'll be able to do that. So that's the question, right, that we have to have for the long term. CHPT is going to be, let's take a peek at it. That's a charging play, charge point, right? Down 5% today. I mean, 200 SMA here. I mean, I like it. I like that play. I'm gonna give it. I don't know. This is probably a play that I would throw in my longer term account. I wouldn't even bother with the short term stuff. Sure, you can play it for the short term and make some money off of short term games, but yeah. Yeah, that's why I like AYRO too, with the money going into the EV sector. I like this one a lot. Let it come down. I mean, I'm fine with letting it come down, but I think this is going to be a play that makes a nice move eventually. Let's go back to coin. All right, so I mean, I'm probably going to. I got to head out soon, so I'm going to wrap things up soon. But as of right now, it's got holding up here around this 330. So we have a couple wicks as support there. 350, I would think, is going to be a strong resistance if it gets back up there. But that's me. That's me. I don't think it's going to go back to 250, to be honest with you, unless it takes a couple days, a couple weeks to get down there. I think under 300 is much more realistic. I don't think it will get down that low. I think there's enough people who really value this thing who will value this guy longer term, Coinbase, and who will buy this thing as it gets close to $300. But we'll see. Obviously, the next 3 days, I mean 2 days, I guess Thursday, Friday, will really be important to see how this plays out. Because if we see, this thing dropping below 300 and it starts holding below there, then yeah, that tells you enough, right? That tells you a lot. But if not, then that gives you kind of a better sense. Okay, people are starting to see, hey, there's value. They believe, at least long term, however you want to think of the value here. If you're pricing in future or whatever, then you'll be thinking, okay, this is at least it's holding $300. Yeah, I'm in the same boat in terms of that. Day trading and swings are fun, but if you're really honestly, if you want, a lot of times people get caught up in that stuff, and it was really fun for a good period of time too when things were super hot. But at the end of the day, the long-term investing side of things is so much less stressful, right? And you can go do what you got to do. Yeah. I'm sorry if I can't. Some of these things are coming in quick. Coin dropping again. Yeah, it's in that mid 330 area. But we'll see. We'll see how it holds up. I'm probably gonna wrap things up. I know people. Sorry if you guys just got in, but I'm gonna probably wrap things up soon, relatively soon, because I got to get out. But sorry if I'm missing stuff. How's it going, Ryan? Let's see. couple bucks off GME. Yeah, actually, I was just looking at GME as we're talking, and it broke the VWAP, right? We were talking about VWAP as resistance. It broke that, and it pushed up. So that would have been a couple percent. What is that from VWAP break? Yeah, like a 3% scalp. Could have been cool. Wasn't paying attention, but could have been nice. Yep. So we'll see how this thing holds up. I kind of get the feeling that it could make a move in the after hours. I think it could make a move up in the after hours, but we'll see. GME is about to run. Do you sell covered calls? Yeah, that's what I would do personally on FRX. I don't think I've sold any on FRX, but I've been doing that on my longer term positions. That's how I kind of do it. In the short term, like in my Webull account, I don't really do that too much, if at all. But in my longer term accounts, I'll sell covered calls 100% all the time. Like FSR, like all the time, I'm selling covered calls like every week on FSR. VISL I have as well in the long term. They have options. I've been selling covered calls, and that guy like $5 covered calls out like a month, or at least those expire this week. So I'll be selling next week. I'll be selling more covered calls on that. UAVS partner with Amazon. That's like the running joke, I feel like, that UAVS and Amazon. What is UAVS looking like? But the thing about UAVS is that this thing went to over 17. It's come back quite a bit, but I kind of see VISL as this type of play. Like VISL is, I think, in like this stage of UAVS. It's like down here, I would think. I think VISL is going to look like this. Come back in like 1 or 2 years, and this is what you're going to look at. I think you're going to see. And I'm not like UAVS. If I was trading UAVS, which I have in the past, but like UAVS is a stock, for example, like I'm not super concerned about maybe the long term. Maybe I miss out on gains, but like if I'm in this thing, right, from like 2, or if I'm in this thing from 3, or from, let's say, 550 support here, and the thing goes up 100%, I'm cashing in on that, cashing in. Which I think is the way that, at least how I do things generally. I find that like that always, when I look back on stuff, when I look back at like mistakes and things that I make, it's always not taking profit early enough. It's just not taking profit, thinking that I want to play it longer. And in certain stocks, like a Tesla, maybe like a I don't know, a Penn, or like a FSR. Pretend FSR is super speculative, right? And that could be one of the biggest misses ever, right? If, let's say, I was to sell FSR, and then FSR becomes big and takes a decent chunk of the market share. Who knows? That's super speculative. But, those are situations where you could end up screwing yourself by selling too early. But if you get a big move, you're talking about a stock that goes up in, let's say, you're looking at like a 6 months or less period of time, and you have a stock that goes up 100%. The way that I think of things, I just can't, because there's so many opportunities, I just can't get myself to not think about selling, right? Unless I am really, really long-term focused on the stock, like a Tesla maybe, because then it's like, you just destroyed the overall market average return in 6 months or less, right? Let's say, because it could happen on some, small cap stocks, it could happen in like a month or less. You just destroyed the overall average return on this one stock, then you want to take profits? And for me, it's always like, yes, I always want to take profits. I'll go back to coin really quick before... Yeah, it's tanking a little bit. That's tanking. So I ended up, I bought it. So for those who are in now, here's what I did. I bought the thing right when it came out. I could have sold it up here. I didn't do it because I was like, let's just let this ride out. We'll have the stream, and we'll hold our shares. And then it just fell off, and I sold it down in like somewhere down in here just to see if I could, because someone asked about shorting, just to check, and I didn't buy it back. And so here we are. But I'm probably going to buy it back at some point soon. And you cannot short it, at least on Webull as of right now. So the answer to that question is you can't short it. But in the process, I had to sell my shares. I didn't buy them back yet. But we may do that soon. Good entry point. I think under $300 would be really nice, I think. But here's the thing: when it comes down to it, right, the way that I see it, right, is I for example, like, well, you guys, if you guys are new, come make sure you subscribe to the channel, because we don't do any of this like sell, anything or like course or like, Discord groups or alerts and stuff like that, which is how I want to keep things. Like literally, like that's how I always want to keep stuff here. But like, I'm just like real with how I do it. So every Saturday we go over my account, and this week is going to be a pretty nasty red week because of today. And Coinbase didn't matter, right? I lost whatever $500, who knows? And maybe it recovers, and I we'll recoup some of that loss. But that doesn't matter. But what it comes down to is that if you're freaking out about something, it's because you're in with too much money, right? It's simply how it is. So if I'm sitting here and I had some option trades, right? Going into my option trades, they were lottery trades for a reason, and that was it, right? I knew I am willing to lose how much I'm putting in, right, on these option trades, and that was what I did. And I ended up selling them and recouping some of the money off them as I realized, hey, these are not going to make it to money by the end of the week, so I'll take it. But we are going to, obviously we learn from mistakes, and we'll go from there. Interesting, you're using eToro. So the SPAC with eToro is FTCV. How is that stock doing? I'm using Webull right now. And if anyone is interested, there's always a link down below to get 2 free stocks, or it should be in the pinned comment, the top comment of this thing. But FTCV is actually recovering off the bottom, off the lows, quite well. But yeah, I had options on this thing that just got destroyed today. They were speculative. If this thing ran up massively, right, it would have paid, but it didn't, and so it happens. But that's the thing. As long as you're willing to take your loss, then it doesn't matter. You get back up the next day and you go after it, right? Why sell and buy back? Oh, I didn't mean to do that actually. I did, I guess, but I meant to buy it back right away just because I wanted to just check if you could short. But you could just average down. Maybe that's what I would recommend. Because I had to be at a net. You can't short, or even you couldn't short it, right, if you had 10 shares long. So I had to wipe that out and then say, hey, can I short it? And it was like, no, you can't. I wouldn't be surprised if it runs in after hours though, or it gets like a little push. Do you think it's a good idea to go with call options? Well, that's going to be a really good point for Saturday's video because I did just that this week. And the thing about that is that when it works, and this is how I see it, and I see, as I follow people and stuff, and I watch people online just to see how stuff works, everyone gets quiet and stops talking and posting and whatever when they are losing. Number one, that's not something that I will do. So you guys can at least know that red or green, I'll be here to explain what happened. Which this week is probably gonna be red unless some magical miracle happens in the next 2 days. It's gonna be red. But the options, I played with expirations on options on Riot and Mara and a couple other stocks, FTCV, right? And they were lottery tickets, right? So I knew that they're either going to hit and they're going to hit hard and they're going to go 1, 2, 3, 500%, right? Or they're going to lose, right? And so when you're doing it that way, right, how are you calculating your risk reward? Well, okay, if it hits 500%, right, then if let's just say I'm betting $500, right? Do the math. If I'm betting $100, right, and it goes 500%, I'm making a couple $100. But worst case scenario, it wipes me out and it goes worthless. I'll try to sell it before it goes worthless, but worst case, it goes worthless and I lose $100. So the risk reward makes sense to me on that, but you have to understand and be willing to accept the loss. Now you'll get some killer, option trades that expire in the next couple of days or expire this week, right? And if you're doing that, you hit 1 or 2, that is the best feeling ever. But you have to realize that you have to be willing to take that risk. And if you can't take that risk and take that loss, and it's going to ruin you for the rest of the week, and it's now going to make you start doing stupid stuff, then it's just not worth it, right? It's not worth it. Get a few more likes. Yeah, hit that thumbs up button, and we will. We'll see. I got to leave soon, but we'll ride just to the close, and then we'll go from there. We'll go right to the close. You can't even buy it with Fidelity. Interesting. Yeah, I'm surprised that we will allowed to buy pretty much right away. But that's the other thing. People who are freaking out about it too. Then here's the thought process, right? If you're freaking out about this right now, let's just think. What you could do is freak out, or you could just say to yourself, hey, like, it's not the end of the world. I can average down. Or you went in too big. If you're going in too big right away, then you went in too big. If you were going to buy this thing, maybe you had like, let's say you're going to maybe max out with $10,000 worth, let's just say, right? For example, you buy $1,000, you buy $1,000 as it goes down, and you slowly average in. Maybe today you're willing to spend, $3,000 to $5,000 on Coinbase. And then tomorrow you can spend a little bit more if it dips, right? So you think about it that way. Don't just all in. We didn't lose it. We're reconnection. Okay, we're good. Yep. Yeah, that was a nice green candle so far right there. So yeah, it should be. I would think it's probably available on most platforms by tomorrow. I would think. GME has been. GME was a nice little scalp for sure off that VWAP break. So 315. That's a good average so far. At least it looks good right now. 315 at yeah. Sitting here at 332, yeah. Sold my coin. The cash is unsettled on Ameritrade. Usually I get it right away. That's interesting. I don't know. Yeah. Let's check on Bitcoin now. Can we correlate any of this? Can we make any correlations here? No. Not really. And Bitcoin's been selling off generally since the IPO, but not really a correlation perfectly. Maybe a little bit, but nothing crazy. Pace is sleeping on IPO days and buy late. But there were people who did well, who scalped this thing from. I could have been one of them, but I just decided to hold it, and who bought this thing right when it came out. So I got it at 393, and I was up. Within minutes, I was up. It was up at 425. I'm like, man, that's awesome. But I didn't take it. But I think it's just not something that people should just generally be freaking out and worrying about. So if you're buying this thing averaging down, do it with money that you're willing to have sit for a little while, and if it dips further, yeah, if it dips down in the 200s, then sure, then if you like it then still buy it then. But yeah, I think it's a longer term horizon on this one. I don't think it's worth freaking out in the short term. EDITs in the CRISPR field, genetic editing. Let's take a peek at it. Oh wow, that's a sell-off lately, right? That's a good spot. It's a good range I like for EDIT. That's nice. That could be nice. That could be really a solid play. This thing gets back up to close to $100, back where it was. That's a doubler. Trading platform I have is Webull. It should be a link at the top of the pinned comment if you are interested in checking it out. Biggest plus of it is the 4 a.m. trading hours. So 4 a.m. to 8 p.m. Not that I'm up at 4 a.m., but it's because mostly, if I am, I would be setting my sell orders, and it could hit, at that time. So it's been working out quite well on stocks that are looking strong into the close. So Personally, I did think the same. I thought Coinbase was going to open a little bit higher than where it opened at, but it is what it is. I thought it would open up at like 500 plus or something like that. And then, I mean, I'm not saying that's where it should be valued. I'm just saying I thought that's what would happen. And then maybe I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this type of sell-off from like 500. Kind of surprised that it sold off from 4, but you know, it is what it is. I like DraftKings. Let's pull it up. I'm in Penn, but I like DraftKings. It's a decent. You're at a decent pullback. I like it. Here in the 50s, yeah, for sure. Especially with more states. I'm in Penn though. Let's take a look at Penn. The reason why is because Penn is a little bit easier for me to put a trade to trade it, because, or at least to kind of see the trade, because I like this area right here. From $100 down to like 95 is a solid range that I'm buying Penn. So that's me. Let's see. Coinbase, we go back to Coinbase. How much is Coinbase? Coinbase is currently $323 and like 80 cents. So I ended up, what I want to do actually before the close is let's sell off a little more so I can buy my shares back, please. And then we will, because I had to sell it to see if I could short. You can't. Not that I was going to short it, but just to see if you could. And I sold it around this point. So I'm trying to see if I could do that. The issue with shorting is just the fees. So if a stock is hard to borrow and you may have to pay a higher fee on it. The thing with the fees though, and I'll make a video on shorting eventually in the future. The thing with the fees and shorting is that the issue is not necessarily that, it's not that big a deal when you may look at these at a hard to borrow rate. For example, if we go to GameStop, I wonder if you can short GameStop. Can you even short it? No. Damn. Let's see like TV. Okay. Yeah. TV here, right? Let's say if I wanted to short TV, it's going to say that I have, there's not even giving me a rate. It just says that there may be high risk. Okay. I'm trying to find like a stock that has a high, like a fee, like let's say a significant fee. Okay. Whatever. But what I'm trying to get at here, of course, there's like no fees for any of these stocks because there's not much to talk about when it comes to a lot of these stocks out here. Okay, here we go. This one has a hard to borrow fee rate of 1.94%. The thing about the fee rate that you have to understand too is that when it comes down to it, is that these fee rates, now it depends, I guess, on different brokers. Things could be differently how things work. But when you're looking at it, you have to think about, okay, right now, if I'm going to it depends on your trade. If I'm going to day trade this for a short, right, then what you're doing is you're looking for a quick entry and exit, which is what if I'm shorting something, I am not going to short something overnight because then your risk is, as it is, your risk on a short is massive because it's technically unlimited. But if something pops up off of like stupid news and you're like, hey, that thing's coming down tomorrow or by the end of the day, then that's a short that I'm willing to take, generally. But those rates is that you have to actually do the math on that rate and divide that out to get it to your daily rate. So if they give you a fee rate of X percent, well, it's actually a lot lower because that's giving you the rate for the year. So it's not that bad. But it's the same thing. It's the tax situation is just gains. Like at the end of the year, right? You're going to have gains or you're going to have losses. And so it's like, okay, you either got gains or losses and you can either, you're going to pay taxes on the gains and that's it. Looking into Tesla today, I think I'm a fan of Tesla. Always want to have some cash, but let that one work out for you. I think that's a long-term play, but always want to have cash for Tesla dips is how I kind of see it. eToro doesn't charge fees if not using leverage on common stocks. Okay. And the fees are just for shorting. No commissions on pretty much every platform these days. But the fees we're just talking about for shorting on hard to borrow stocks. So for example, like if a stock is if there's a stock that a lot of people are shorting, there's generally going to be higher fees. So we're currently sitting here. We have a little downtrend developing. 326. We're going to go a couple more minutes until the close, and then I got to scoot. But yeah, it should be an interesting. I think we'll see what happens in the app. I wouldn't be surprised if it makes a run in the after hours. Wouldn't be surprised. Let me just do that. Let me just get back because I had to get back in this thing. I'll start with 5 and I'll add more as time progresses. Let's go with that. What are I gonna snag it at? 326. Maybe let's see if I can get 326. Can that fill possibly? Or 327? 328. Maybe it's breaking this downtrend. Let's see. Maybe it's gonna go over. LGHL dipping. Yeah, I still like it though. I'm chilling with what I have on that thing, honestly. Thanks for the stream. Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, all I ask in return is you guys hit the thumbs up button. That's it. That's literally it. Let's see. Are we gonna get filled here? We're trying to slide back in. I think LGHL, whether it's this week, next week, as long as crypto stays hot. Let me get this. Make sure I get this fill here. As long as crypto stays fairly hot, I think it's fine. That's a good point though on Bitcoin too, because Coinbase is going to be very much, I don't want to say dependent, but correlating to Bitcoin. Yeah. LGHL for 330. I think that's fine. I would say my average on that, I think, is like 318-ish. So I was up, and then now I was down. Now I'm back to even-ish. I think it's okay. So look at that little downtrend break, little pop, little like 1% pop on that. So I appreciate that. Appreciate you subscribing. Yeah, make sure people who are tuning in now, make sure to come in for Saturday's video. The Saturday videos are fun. I've been doing a more like laid back, where I kind of just sit back and we talk about what's going on in the market and talk about my positions, how I did in this past week. And to also note is that we pretty much, I'll talk about long-term stuff too, but for the most part, when we talk about my Webull account, it's a short-term account. So it's not like a YOLO account, because I mean, I've been trying to, the goal is to grow this thing to 100K in a year from 15,000. We're at like 45,000 right now, which if you tuned into last Saturday's video, we were at like 48. So you probably know we took a pretty fat L this week so far. Yeah, but that was a calculated L, and it could have been a big win if things worked out, but it just didn't work out. But DSS is at pretty oversold levels as well. But Saturdays are the most important videos, because there's no hiding stuff on that. We just talk about what's actually happening and talk about how things are going and how I'm faring, lessons and things like that, which most people, what happens is that when they, and I do it because I don't have anything, I don't have a Discord alert to sell you, you know what I mean? Like most, it seems like these days, everyone's got something to sell you, so they got to act as if they're perfect, right? They don't have to do that, but it's fun. So we can actually, those are useful videos. So stay tuned for those videos. I think they're really useful. I enjoy them. And outside of that, we're going to wrap things up here in a few minutes. Market's about to close in 2 minutes. And so we'll see how this finishes up. I think Coinbase is probably going to it probably pushes into the close, into the end of the day, in the after hours, if I had to guess, but we'll see. Let's see. I potentially could stream Coinbase again. We'll see. Coinbase earnings call in June. Yeah, I mean, if Bitcoin stays up, let's take a look at Bitcoin. If Bitcoin stays up, yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very bullish call for Coinbase. I think today's a weird day. I think with Bitcoin hitting 65K overnight almost, and then pulling back. Pulled back. Look where it pulled back to. Prior high. So I would expect it to hold up there, like 61.5. If it goes below 61.5 and starts falling and holding below that level, it might not be great, but I expect it to stay pretty strong going forward, at least as of right now in terms of Bitcoin. So if that happens, then I would expect maybe Coinbase to stay strong as well. We'll see. I haven't talked about TRCH. That has been a crazy stock though. I'm thinking about dip adding LG. I think it's a decent idea. What I would be, at this point, I think we're kind of we kind of have moved on from some of this hype stuff. So these stocks will kind of, they'll filter out into kind of how they've actually, into where they should be. A lot of these, I think. LGHL, EBON, 2 oversold stocks. I think that'll reverse at some point. Maybe it takes a week or two. But I think that they'll make a nice reversal. At least I think, which is why I'll stay in them. ANTE. This one is interesting. I think this one holds up here roughly, but it could certainly come down. So we'll have to give that one some more time, and then we'll assess. But weird day. All right, there it is. Market's closed. So the after hours so far, Coinbase is down slightly, closing here. It closed the day at 328.28. That's where it closed. And look at this. It's up to 333 in the after hours, so it's up 1%. But we'll see. I don't think it's a big deal on the drop in Coinbase. I think it's actually honestly a decent buying opportunity if you're interested in buying this thing. If you wanted to buy it when it came out, then you probably want to still buy it here. Then just make sure that it's just a lesson for those who maybe got caught up. It's a lesson for, for the future of like, you know what? Maybe I should have cash available. Always have some cash, or I sized in too big right away. That's potentially the lesson that I think you have to learn from this. So that's what it's all about. Different dollar for different price for a coin. That's weird. I don't know why the price would be different. Interesting. So I just bought 5 shares. I had bought 10, sold it, tried to see if we could short it, just to not actually short it, but just see if it would allow me to. Didn't, and then I bought those back. Now I have 6 shares here at 329-ish average. So we'll hold that for now, and then we'll see how things go in the next couple of days, and maybe we'll add into that and play it for a bounce or something like that. Maybe not. We'll see how things go. But that's the plan, Stan. So we'll see. Oh, yeah, by the way, EQS, careful. Yeah, I sold. I think it's still fine. Pull it up. Oh, yeah. I sold it under. I didn't like it. It wasn't holding 10. I sold it. Yeah, that doesn't look good anymore because it came off pretty hard, personally. It sucks. This is a weird one, a very weird one, because it looked really good. It looks so good. And then it just hit this wall. This is before this is like, actually, no, this is like close to the IPO. And then it just fell off hard. Super hard. No, I bought in I just put in an order, a limit order, right when the IPO was coming out. I originally got in at 393, and I mean, I wasn't looking to try to scalp it for a day trade, although within seconds I was seemingly up 10%, so I probably should have sold it, but I didn't at over 400. That's where I got it at, somewhere in here. So that's where I got, and then I bought. I grabbed some more back here, so we'll just. I feel pretty comfortable with an average right where it's at. Holding at least from now. When shorting on Webull, I don't think so. I think you have to have a margin account. Maybe you have to have over $2,500. I forget if that's a requirement, but you may have something like that as a requirement. But that's all you really need to be able to short. So VTVT, it held up quite well, but after yesterday, I don't know. It held up quite well. I would like VTVT down under $3 again. Down towards like the 50 SMA, down towards like 275 would be my place, but that's just me. All right, so with that said, as we're speaking, right, Coinbase is now up to 334 in the after hours so far, so it's up almost 2%. And I'm going to wrap things up. So thanks for everyone tuning in. Make sure you are subscribed if you have not done so already. Check out some recent videos here on the channel. And stay tuned for Saturday's video. We're going to be unveiling the L's that we took. But it's in a good way. There'll be a lot of stuff to talk about. Options, expiration, kind of lessons, and how, or not lessons, but also saying that I was willing to take the risk, but understand that for someone who may not know enough about it or who's curious of getting into it, it will be good to understand so that you know that risk going into a play, right, going forward. So that said, I'm going to wrap things up. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and I will see you guys in the next video.